Data types is like a category of data, the way a data is structured. So we have in Python, we have different data types. And there's what is called data structure, which is a data type that is structured in a manner that is user computer defined or is user defined, right? So let's talk on some of the data types we have, of some of the built-in data types we have in Python. So the first one we have is the string data type, which we've actually used when we did our print world. A string is a collection of ordered characters. So we'll get into that more. We have your list data type, we have your tuple, your map, your numbers. We've also used numbers, things like 1, these are your own numbers, 1, 2, 3, all the way to billions, and it could get up to 4 to the power of 256,000. That is the highest value of numbers you can get. Then you have your floating point, which we discussed earlier, which these are values that have decimal points that moves depending on the value size. So these are the 4 basic data types we have in Python. So this is a data type, this is a data type. And this, the list and the tuple and the map, are more or less data structured because they have a structure to it that is different, that you can structure in any way you want to. They are not all predefined completely like numbers. And you can only have the amount of numbers that Python gives you. You can create your own number, but your data structure, you can make a unique data structure. When we get to that, you will see how it works and the major difference between the two of them. So in this lecture now, we'll be talking more on strings. So string. Like I said, a string is the collection of characters. It's an ordered collection of characters. So let's use the hello world, for example. Hello world, right? So this is a character, H is a character, E is a character, L is a character, all the way down to D. And it's ordered. So I can say, give me the first value of this string value. You can say, okay, this is the first one. You can give me this. Or you say, this is the last one. Give me this one. So it's ordered. It has an order to it. So it's an ordered collection of characters. So this thing we call this a string type. Say I pass a thread through it. It flows. It doesn't break anywhere. It flows. So it's string. It's like a string. They are stringing characters together. That's why they refer to it as a string most of the time. So there are 3 ways to create a string. But you can use the single quotes, you can use the double quotes, you can use the triple quotes. So let's open to our code and see how we can use these methods to create our string. So using what we've learned variable, we can say Fred is equal to, then create a string called, so for example, what does Fred like? Fred likes food. So this is a string. And if we try to print Fred, you see Fred gives us food. It works perfectly. The other way we can create string, let's use the double quotes. And to copy your code file, use Ctrl+C to copy, highlight Ctrl+C, then to paste it, Ctrl+V. So let's copy this as well. It still works. Then another use case you can see where we use triple quotes, you can say something like this, 1, 2, 3, then press enter. Instead of it to run our code, it gives us, okay, you want to use a multi-line code, you want to write a multi-line string. So we can start writing things like, hello, I am Fred, and I like food, right? Then we close it. Ensure you always close what you open. So your parentheses, you close your parentheses, your square bracket, you close it, your string, you close it with the same way you opened it, right? So we close our multi-line string. We can now press enter and it gives us a new line, which is this. When you see this 1, 2, 3 greater than sign, it means Python is the terminal saying, okay, I'm done with that line. Now you can enter a new line. Once we print Fred, you see, I am Fred and I like food. And it gives us exactly the way we type it, which is it doesn't change anything we type. So one of the major reasons Python gives us this multi-line method of writing code is in scenarios where we might need to quote someone else. We want to write a string that quotes something someone said. So, for example, I can say this string, Fred said, then you want to use another string. For example, so Fred said he likes eating chicken, right? Even from the code itself, you see that there's something that is off. You see, this is highlighted green, meaning it's a string, but this is not highlighted green, but we want this to be highlighted green. So when we try to run this, immediately we get a syntax error. It's going to tell us, we don't understand this. What are you trying to tell us? Because in English or in any language, syntax error simply means the structure of your sentence or your words, right? So Python is telling you that I don't understand this structure. I don't understand it. Now, to make this work, you will need to encase what you want to quote inside the double quotes, which means this single quote will end here. Then this double quote is now what you're trying to quote inside your sentence, right? So once you run this, it will print out Fred with the double quote that quotes what we are trying to quote. You see, it prints out Fred and it gives us back our quote. So you can do this alternatively. That's what I mean by alternatively. You could come here, change this to a double quote, then you change this to single quotes, then double quote. What it simply means is this part at the double quote means your string starts here and ends here. Then this other one that is inside, it simply means this is a different quotes inside the quotation. It's not a string. It is a part of the main string, but it's not a separate string on its own. Do you understand? Hope you do. If you have any question, you can leave it in the question and answer section or the comments, and I'll definitely respond to it. So now let's just print this out and you see it works perfectly. So for the sake of learning, I will show you another method to achieve this exact same thing, right? So say we have this, and for some weird reason, we have this, right? And for some weird reason, maybe our boss tells us, I don't want you using another type of quotation. In this our company, we only use single quotes for our strings, right? So to accomplish this, you might see this in some code bases. What you do, you use the escape keyword, and this escape key, it simply tells the Python interpreter that, okay, I know this character supposed to mean a close of our string, but I want you to ignore this and just include it in our programming. So this is the what we use. It's called the backslash. Okay, backslash. So it tells Python, okay, this character that is just in front of the backslash, ignore it completely. So pass this in as well here. So Python now is going to ignore this part, this quotation, this single quote, ignore this other single quote. So once we run this, our code should run perfectly. So it runs perfectly. Another thing you could do is these ones that have this, instead of going through the whole stress of all of this. So for example, let me give you another example. So Fred said, okay, Fred is equals to, this is a city string, let's just call it city string. Okay. Pass this. He said, so this is inside the quotes, right? He couldn't. Let's use something like this. And couldn't. Are you seeing this? Let's just send it here. Wouldn't. So you can see that our code breaks. So there are two ways to do this, which is the first way to simply pass this over here, and this over here, and it will fix our code. Or an even better way to do this is to simply use the triple quotes. So automatically we fix our code. You can see the ideally I like that, okay, this is the string. I understand that this is the string, so I can work with this. So we print this out. We get city string. String. Let's spell it correctly. Okay. It works perfectly. Right. The next thing we need to know about string is how to embed values in our string. So you see this in things like game, where the score, for example, a game that once you play the game, the score changes. So it gives you a new score. At the end of the game, it gives you a score. So and that value changes. So we want a situation where we can add the new value from our variable directly into our string. So let's say, let's create a variable, let's call this message. And this message will have a greeting. So we are going to be using this this percentage sign then s, which means this is a string. The string value will be embedded into here. Let's say hello, then the name of the person, right? And to make this work, we go to name, another variable called name. Don't pass in the name, any other name we want. You can say Isaiah. Say print. And to embed this name inside of our string, we simply use message, then use this percentage sign again and pass name. Once we run this, see hello Isaiah. So we have successfully embedded the name into this keyword, into this variable, right? So this simply tells Python that okay, there's something that's supposed to be here. A string is supposed to be here. So once we use this percentage sign, it immediately embeds it. There are multiple ways you could do this. There's another way you could do this using string formatting, which goes like this. Print, you can pass your message, dot format, you can pass what you want to add into it. Okay. Okay. If you want to make that work, you have to do something like this. So this is your message. You pass. This is how you do it. Let me just do the string directly. Hello. And use this here. Then you can pass your what you want to add into it. Oops, okay. Okay, I did not close this up. Mistake right there. Let's close this up. Okay. Okay, as you can see, this is another way you could do this. So we use this curly brace instead of this value. But to use this, you have to know that okay, a string is definitely going to be here. Then we have some other value, which is percentage x for hexadecimal, percentage d for digits, and so on and so forth. There's a couple more. And there are also some other ways to embed, but this is one of the most popular way. Then the last way to embed is like this. You can say print using your variable as well. Then let me just do that from the start. Let's say, okay, this is your message. Let's change the message. What's inside your message to hi. Right? You say print f space then last name here. Okay. Okay, to use this last method, this is how you use it. Okay. Instead of going through all of this, you can just say, okay, this is how you use it. So you've defined your name value, right, over here. You can simply just insert the value directly into your message like this. And once I print this, it prints it out with the name. So these are 3 methods you could use to insert values directly into your strings. So I think there's one more, but it's beyond the scope of the course, so you can research that later on. So the next thing we can do is you understand that in string, you can add two values together. You can add string values. So for example, let's say let's get another variable for now. Let's call this first name. First name is equal to John. Yeah. Last name is equals to Doe, right? You could use Python to add two strings together like this. First name plus last name gives us John Doe. You could also multiply string values like this, but you can't multiply two strings. You can multiply string with an integer. So something like you can say first name multiplied by 100, for example, to print out John 100 times. So you can use this for spamming and all of that. You can multiply it with a number, but you can't multiply string with a string. Anyway, let's try it out and see if it will work. You cannot multiply string by string. Can't multiply sequence by sequence. So another thing you would notice so far, you see that when we do something that the interpreter does not understand, it gives us an error. We want to make a mental note of reading the error. And this, for example, you see a type error cannot multiply by non-int of type string, which means we cannot multiply a string value by a value that is not an integer, right? So this error enlightens us, okay, this is what you should do to fix your code. This is what is wrong with your code. So far we've been able to learn some of the data types, we've been able to learn how to use the data types, how to work with strings, and the various methods we can work with string to embed values in our string, and some operators that work in string. So the next class we'll be talking on lists, what are lists, and how to work with them. If you have any question, you can leave it in the question and answer section, and I'll get to you as soon as possible.